Hello, welcome to the SUSE Conference 2025. We're here at Stirling Uni, where we're going to hear from delegates throughout the day. So hopefully you enjoy the video and you'll take away from what you hear today. So Tom, what are you hoping for to help people into employment, people with a disability?
Well, the Scottish Government is committing £5 million for the rollout of specialist employability support across Scotland this summer. And what has been agreed through that is a process to ensure that in each local authority in Scotland there will be an enhanced offer of support for disabled people and people with long-term health conditions. And similar to our approach to the devolved employability services, these services will be delivered with fairness, dignity and respect at the heart, and also ensure that the approach that is offered to people is tailored to their particular circumstances. And what we also want to see is increased working between service providers and employers to ensure that people who seek the support of these services receive the best service available.
So Norma, can you tell us about the supported employment work campaigns?
So I've been doing this, as you know, Michael, for a very, very long time. And I think when I started out and discovered it, I really thought it would be in every town in Scotland and every city in Scotland by now. And it isn't. And we've followed and supported various different things over the years, from the framework of supported employment being launched through to reviews of that. And I'm now personally part of currently the Specialist Employment Support Implementation Group. And to this day, we're still being told that there are various approaches when we know supported employment is a really important and effective way for people with learning disabilities particularly to get jobs, but actually it's a really good approach for helping any disabled person to get a job. So I think we are now taking the bull by the horns and saying we are not waiting for permission. We know what good looks like. Supported employment is good, and we want to inform politicians and businesses and the general public as to what good looks like, and that is supported employment. So supported employment works, so hence the campaign. We launched it in April and we'll be doing it as an annual thing now, but hoping that we build momentum throughout the year as well, in terms of people sharing their stories and their pictures around how it's changed people's lives and how it should be something that everyone should be able to expect and demand regardless of where they live in Scotland.
Cool, thanks. So Jen, how can services be better so that people can people with learning disabilities' voice can be heard more?
Really interesting question, and such an important one that I think all organisations should be taking a little bit more care over. I think this is where the importance of co-design and co-production comes in, and involving people who are going to be using the services, whatever service that is, in the design from the very, very beginning all the way through to the end, and starting again in this great big circle of learning. I think the phrase, which is often overused but I think is really important, is nothing about us without us. If you're going to be using a service, surely you need to have a say in how that service is designed and how it's run, and even just what is it? What do you need? What does good look like to you? And it's about power sharing. Not just saying to somebody, here's a questionnaire, let's know what you think, or we've decided to do this, what do you reckon? But it's about involving people from the very beginning, from concept stage, even through to delivery, using the skills and aptitude of people with any kind of disability in delivering services too, whether it be peer mentoring, whatever their skill set would lend itself to. And that's really what co-production and co-design is about. It's about everybody getting together, having a seat at the table and being involved in what their service looks like and delivering it.
So Alison, you've joined with this board.
Yes.
what has your experience like, and also what are you hoping to get out of the board?
Well, yes, as you're saying, I joined the SUSE board. I was approached by SUSE probably about a year ago, roughly. I was approached by SUSE, as people know, I've been working with them on and off for years, since about 2021, and I built up a strong relationship with them. And I was approached to become a trustee, and I was genuinely flattered, actually, to have been asked. But I was excited as well, because obviously I feel really passionate about the work that SUSE do, trying to sort of bridge the employment gap and help disabled people find employment, and to encourage disabled people to be as independent as possible in employment. I've always really loved the ethos of what SUSE do, so I was delighted to join the board, because I've enjoyed working with them so much. And it's been a really fascinating experience, because I've never been on a board before. I've never been a trustee in an organisation before. So in a way, from that point of view, it was really fascinating, because it was my first time of doing something like that, and I felt it's a great sort of responsibility. But also I was quite curious as well, because obviously the work I'd been doing pre being a trustee was predominantly Experience Network, and I would sort of get bits and pieces of tasks that we were doing, but the actual running of the company and how the sort of day-to-day running of it is done, and the decisions that are made, and how David and his colleagues, the decisions that they have to make on a day-to-day basis, and all the projects that they have to become involved in, and funding and so on, and how the trustees are involved in that, sort of helping and aiding in making decisions. I was really interested to find out about that. So I feel as if since I became a trustee toward the end of last year, it's been an education for me from that point of view, to sort of learn what the company do, to learn from that side of it, as well as the lived experience thing. But the thing is, the lived experience side of it is still important, because again, it's really important that people with lived experience are represented everywhere, and that's including as trustees and board members. So again, it's a great thing that SUSE are engaging with people with lived experience of being disabled at that level as well, and in a way that going forward, as I continue to be a trustee and build on the relationship I have with SUSE, that's what I would like to really sort of hopefully help, use my lived experience as a person in employment to sort of help SUSE in the decisions that they make, and to sort of come at it from that angle. So I feel it's great, and that's what I want to do moving forward, to really share my lived experience, and to help SUSE and to collaborate with all the other trustees in helping make the decisions that we have to make the company as the best it can be.
So Rebecca, how can we make sure employers have a say in shaping services, but also how can we design services that clearly meet the needs of people with disabilities?
Yeah, so for employers, I guess there needs to be a kind of level of local engagement with employers, and I guess the right place to start with that would be with the local employability partnerships, to build on the strengths of which employers are in those local areas that can engage, who want to engage, and who we as providers of supported employment for disabled people, so that we can get those connections with those employers. As a supported employment provider, we get those connections through individuals that we're working with employers, and then we're able to identify what they need around that individual. For Interwork, we've been able to engage with employers in terms of delivering training, if they need training around making their workspaces more autistic friendly, and being more confident around employing autistic people or neurodivergent people and disabled people. So through those, by making those links, I guess then we're able to engage with employers and find out then from them what what it is that they think they need, either in their recruitment or in their employment practices, to make their workspaces as inclusive as possible. I think for finding out what employers need from us, I guess it's our expertise in knowing what, the success stories, and knowing what can work and what sometimes just a small reasonable adjustment, small change can make for an individual. So I guess it's us being able to share that experience that we've built over the years of delivering supported employment.
So, can you tell us about the theme of the conference, kind of like driving and quality to support employment services? So what does that mean to you, and what would you like to see in SES?
The theme of the conference has been, around supported employment and what more can we do. In terms of the new SES contract, I think it's really important that it adds value to what we already have, that the funding that we get from Scottish Government is used for additional people to get whatever support they need in all of the areas that cover Scotland.